Yeah, one of the funniest jokes that I've heard when I went to go watch you. I don't want to give it away, but it was a gift you received from uncle.
No, is it the dead dude?
Yeah, that
Yeah, the dead guy
wow,
pocket pussies, man.
bro. You should have seen the comedy club, Kyle. When he said that, everyone went quiet. Hey, what's up, D fam? Welcome back to the greatest Bi City podcast in the world, the Weekly D podcast. I'm your host, Danny G. This is my incredible co host, Mr. Kyle Austin.
What's going on, guys?
And tonight we were supposed to have a very special guest, but unfortunately, due to conflicts of scheduling, he will not make it. So you got us today.
Sorry. Apologies ahead of time. But you know what, Danny, this kind of works out though. I mean, because I think it's good to kind of just get the listeners just kind of back on track to kind of what we're doing, kind of get an idea of kind of where we're going. And I think this is going to be like kind of nice for us because we kind of just jumped into an interview with a really different
Set up.
really different setup than what we used to do, and a lot more things, and we didn't really provide any sort of like explanation as to why. So maybe
Yeah.
this will be the episode that we can do that.
Dude, my lighting is wild right now. Looks like I'm glowing.
Dude, I there's nothing I can do about the lighting that I have. I'm in my living room. It is what it is, but that's okay. Like, we're here. We are ready to kind of just have that conversation, and feel free to ask questions. We don't pay a lot of attention directly to the Twitch, at least while we're
We have producers that we hired
yeah.
to watch the Twitch. They're moderators. Now, do they do a good job in relaying the information to us? I don't know.
Arguably, no. I'm kidding. But no, that's why they fit so well in our team. No, realistically though, we did hire producers. We actually have people that are working on the show in the background to kind of help and make sure that we're actually properly doing this whole thing right. Like, I think we've been doing podcasting for 4 years, and like I think me and Danny collectively pretty close to 4 years. And we wanted to kind of change things up.
Weekly D started on June 18th of 2018. So about 4 years.
Yeah, and I was gonna say I don't think I'm gonna Need a Beer was much further back. I think it was literally in October.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken. I think that's when we had jumped in.
Yeah. Damn, dude, almost 4 years of podcasting.
Yeah, it's insane. But I think we're growing. I think we're getting better at this whole thing.
I hope so, man. We invested all this money into it, all this time. 4 years of my life I've gone to telling stories on the internet. So it's picking up steam because
So I guess we can kind of start let's go back a little bit, kind of figure out where we went for like a little while, talk about kind of like where we're going, and then we can kind of discuss a little bit more as we go to and introduce some special people that'll be like in this whole thing going forward. So I'm going to take you back a little bit, listeners. So we're going to go back to October. To put in perspective, every single one of us at Paper Plate Media being our big conglomerate that we're all working under at this point, we're exhausted. We had been podcasting nonstop for almost an entire year.
Some of y'all had podcasts at once.
Yes. So me, as an example, I was doing both my the Weekly D podcast as well as Accidental Chaos, which was another podcast that I was on top of managing cryptocurrency, like with Doge and everything that was going on. And it was just exhausting. And I was really tired and things were intense. I'm also working on an NFT project that released, earlier this year. It was just a lot.
And on top of that, we have full-time jobs.
And we also have full-time jobs. Yeah. So talking about burnout is something that has just notably happened to a lot of people. And it was the first time that I had really ever felt that from a creator's perspective. Like, I've never had something where I'm just like, I'm sick of this. I'm sick of it. I don't want to do it anymore. At least for right now, I need a break. Like I need a real break because I've taken vacations from it. But I got to the point where every single one of us was dreading to get on because we were getting sick of the same thing over and over again. So we stopped in October just to take a break, to kind of figure out what the plan was. And we decided, let's put our heads together, think of some ideas on how we can improve the podcast, maybe brings a little bit more, clarity to like what we want to present ourselves as, and, kind of change direction on a couple different pieces to see if we can kind of become a little bit more professional, kind of a build onto our style, improve on our editing skills, maybe eventually improve our video skills, things like that. So, come January, that's when everything really started to begin.
Yeah, so we really had a defining moment where, as Paper Plate Media, we had to sit down together and just figure out what each show was, because everything was, I hate to say it, a clusterfuck. Like It was a mashup of things. We're literally throwing stuff at the wall and just seeing what stuck. And we realized that wasn't the best way to go about it, especially with the opportunities that started presenting themselves to us, sponsorships presenting themselves to us. So we figured it was time to, switch it up and become a little more professional, do something we really enjoy, which is talking to friends and talking to new people, making new friends. We've had really awesome interviews in the past, and we've brought some of them back, and we're going to bring back even more people, and we're going to meet new people. We have tons of people that we're lining up interviews with. And I mean, the Weekly D is just, it's evolving into something completely different, but something that's a whole lot of fun for us to do, and something we enjoy, and that honestly, we hope you guys enjoy as well as we proceed.
I still think it's kind of crazy, like looking back at the year that we had last year in 2021, because I think when we had started the year of 2020, the expectation, especially during COVID and stuff, was we were going to build, right? We were going to really make 2021 our year. And I think 2021 was the perfect year to build instead. So what we kind of did really was figure out what worked, what didn't. Accidental chaos became a real thing. I Need a Beer, it started to become a thing, which is our podcast we have. It was a little idle. It was gonna happen, and then it just fizzled because there was just so much going on at the time that it was just intense, and it was just a lot, and it was very stressful. But I guess coming down to it, like, one of the things that I'm really proud of is like we went from, drunk interviews with crazy, experiences and conversations and stories to having Dionne Warwick on the podcast for a moment last year. A legendary R&B singer that was able to actually just kind of talk to us about, an upcoming concert that she was going to be a part of with DOGEPALOOZA. And I also got to speak to DJ Nomad, who's also worked with, people from, all over when it comes to like the just general music world, from anywhere from Lady Gaga to Beyonce to Britney Spears. Like it was awesome, something that really was hard to beat. And I think really we're on the right path to potentially topping that this year. I think we have some awesome things set up in the background, and maybe less celebrity guests as it goes through, but I think we're going to have some really awesome conversations with some really awesome people this year. And that's the important part, right? We want to have conversations with real people. Not to say that Dionne Warwick is not a real person, because she's absolutely, she's very, very, very nice and very, very sweet, very, very sweet individual. But to go into more like, really talking to people that are going through it, that are grinding, that are building, what they want, just like we are. So, and that comes from all sorts of different, avenues and perspectives, from musicians to, business owners to, concert, creators to crypto creators. Like we want to talk to all of them.
Yeah.
And this is going to be potentially our opportunity to do so this year.
Yeah, and with that being said, this is one of the reasons why we're on Twitch now. When we decided we needed to evolve and keep growing as a company and as a podcast, and we lacked in the video aspect of it, and this is our chance to turn that around, produce video, produce the Twitch, have fun with y'all, interact with y'all. What's up to everybody in the chat? Metalhead and Mexi Beer Con, we see y'all.
Hey, I see you two beautiful, beautiful people.
We appreciate y'all for joining the cast and the
conversation.
Yeah, the conversation. My bad. I was reading.
The joys of live recording.
Dude, which
That's
is
really
so
what it is.
difficult as a podcaster. Like you could not watch the chat and keep talking. But no,
No.
we're adding new aspects to our podcasting game. We're gonna bring out merch finally this year. We got a lot of special surprises.
I'm
A
so
lot of
excited.
people are gonna get some really cool shit from us. Be on the lookout for it. We will be messaging a lot of the people that have been on this show and a lot of people that listen to the show.
Yeah.
But be on
So
the lookout.
just
We'll be hitting y'all up sooner than later, and y'all might be getting a special gift
from us to
from
you.
us. Yeah, yeah.
In case you didn't know. But yeah, no, I guess kind of going forward, where we are today and kind of what the process is. So Paper Plate has taken a kind of a big step into actually becoming an official LLC. We're working on potentially getting that. We're finally getting that done. We said we got it done, and then it just kind of, we thought we did, and it fizzled, and we just didn't have the funds for it because that's just kind of how the world works sometimes. But we got it now. We're working on getting it all set up and ready to go. And with that, Paper Plate Media is becoming a full-blown business at this point. Meaning, people are joining the crew, and things are changing as a whole. So I kind of wanted to go ahead and go over that. So I wanted to introduce two new people that have officially joined the Paper Plate Media group as a whole. So first one I want to introduce is Alan. So Alan is he's our videographer. He assists with all of the Twitch, setup for the most part. Anything that you see happening in Twitch right now, the way that it looks is definitely because of Alan. And like Chris.
Crap. Blame them.
Yeah. So if it looks like garbage, blame them. But he's been able to kind of really help revitalize kind of how Paper Plate Media as a whole, but also pretty much how this whole thing is going to look going forward.
Aspect is coming out. I mean, honestly, Chris and Alan, they've been doing an amazing job setting up the night bots, staying in the chat. Alan has been exceptional to our team. He's been a great add-on just as much as Chris. Chris leading the Twitch for the whole company, and Alan leading video editing and producing for the Weekly D podcast. So we appreciate you, Alan.
And we appreciate you, Chris.
Yes. And Chris, we appreciate you. Y'all are awesome.
But Chris ain't new. I wasn't going to shout Chris out. He's like, I'm new in my heart.
Right.
But no, shout out to Chris for real. He's been really grinding and really doing some good, really, really good stuff for us and for the space. Another person I want to introduce, his name's Cody Dow. He's going to be the new producer, or not the new producer, well, basically kind of co-producer and creator and co-host of I'm Need a Beer podcast. Yes, finally, I'm Need a Beer podcast is going to be coming back. It's going to be all about, true crime, horror. We're going to be talking a lot of, aspects to horror movies. We're going to be going over some really fun conversations when it comes to the subject of horror as a whole. Maybe have some really fun interviews and guests on pretty soon. We also wanted to be sure we kind of have, an idea of really where we want to take this whole thing. And Cody is a great teammate and really keeps me accountable to make sure that I am able to get this third podcast up and running and back up into a good thing.
Yes, sir. Finally, I'm gonna need a beer coming back.
Will that episode with you, Danny, Noelia, and me release? Whatever release? I don't know. Maybe
it could be a lost file, lost footage.
yeah. It was a fun conversation talking about Dorothy Edie and stuff. Yeah. But we want to potentially bring on some like Bigfoot like hunters and things like that. That was like the fun aspect we really wanted to bring to it, and hopefully maybe have some really cool guests along the way. So we hope you stick around for that and for, this as a whole, because we will be streaming here. That goes for us, Accidental Chaos. I'm Need a Beer for now will be mostly in post. So you really won't see that very much. But if we can do a live cast, we have like a special guest or something, we'll certainly put it here as well. But going in, where we are now. So yeah, shout out to those guys. But where we are now.
We're reformatting. We're reformatting. We're rebranding. Like I said before, we're switching to more of an interview setup. You'll still have some episodes where me and Kyle are just riffing and talking about current events and world events. We still want to have fun with this. We want to get y'all more involved. So the people that watch the Twitch and interact with the chat, I mean, the better. We'll have sections when we interview people where y'all can jump in and just ask your questions to the artist or whoever we're talking to that night. We're gonna be playing games, giving out shout outs, everything. Like
Yep.
it's a good time for us to evolve as a podcast and bring y'all in a little bit more.
We'll also be your favorite news hosts and news sources when World War III finally pops off. So just keep that in mind.
Oh hell yeah. We're gonna be on it.
Yeah, we'll be Putin in the work. No joke. Yeah, you're welcome. Anyways, but yeah, so that's kind of where we are now. Now, I guess overall, what do we want to look at in the future, right? And I think that's the goal. So one thing that we want to do for sure is we hope to definitely up a lot of our production. That includes video production, things like that. We want to become a little bit more professional in that aspect and start to kind of build on that. We also definitely want to potentially bring in more podcasts. There are plenty of great creators out there, and building as a collective is definitely something that really helps. So if you have a podcast, or if you're ever interested in starting a podcast and you don't really know how, definitely hit us up. You can always message me at It's That Guy Kyle on both Instagram and Twitter. I'm always pretty much available if you have questions, things like that. Same with Danny.
You can hit me at Danny_G951 on all social medias, or you can email us at theweeklydpod@gmail.com and just in the subject line put help.
Mm-hmm.
We'll figure it out and we'll help you out as much as we can. If y'all want to join the crew, we got tons of talent on the team now.
But we can always use more if there's ever an opportunity, and if you see like there's something that we may need that we're lacking.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. And yeah, I mean that's basically that. Looking forward to the future. We also hope to finally launch 2 of our other namesake podcasts that we're wanting to build, which is going to be Immigrant Mentality, which is going to be Danny and Noelio's big project. The expectation with Immigrant Mentality is going to be a discussion revolving immigration. And that's going to be a conversation on both, pros for immigration and, negatives for immigration.
We've done a few interviews and they are some hot topics.
Yeah.
And very interesting. We've learned a lot talking to all sorts of people from different walks of life, and whether they're pro or against immigration. You definitely want to listen to it because you might learn something, you might switch your perspective, or you might just understand why the other people that don't agree with you are on that aspect.
Not to mention, we may have maybe every once in a while have a fully Spanish integrated podcast, something specifically for our Spanish listeners that we want to build into Immigrant Mentality, especially if it's going to be stories from people that have lived it and that have told it that really only speak that language.
Yeah.
So we hope to bring that aspect of Spanish, but we also hope to bring that aspect outside of just Mexican culture and stuff as well, because there's a lot more immigrants out here than you think there are.
Yep. Yeah, it's gonna be a great podcast. I'm super excited to get it finally finished and fully released. But it's definitely something. Please be on the lookout for it, because when it hits, it's gonna do something. It's gonna be
a lot. Yeah, and then the last one is it's gonna be kind of like a tester. We're kind of gonna be figuring out what the plan is for it, but it's gonna be a more intense, more raunchy take on our typical podcast, a little bit more like the old school Weekly D, but actually
maybe on steroids.
Yeah, but a little bit more raunchy. And that's it's called right now the Weekly D After Dark, but we're working on some names to kind of readjust, and something that's a little bit more fun, maybe on the nose. And the plan is to have that built out pretty soon. You'll have links to be able to view it, things like that, because we kind of want it to go through somewhere where people can have the freedom to talk however they want to at that point. It is one of those podcasts where there'll be no censorship. Anything we discuss on there is free and open to be discussed. And that's, if you're ever interested in that, we may have some very interesting guests on that podcast.
That one, as soon as we get the green light, it's going to be no holds bar, smack you in the face. There's nothing being held back.
Yeah.
It'll be a great time. It's going to be a great time. You might get disgusted by what we talk about, but it's going to be awesome. We're also coming out with a shorter version podcast, just like the Metal Show. That's going to be produced by Chris. And then we're going to have the Low D podcast, which is a raunchy version of the Weekly D podcast, but it's about 30 minutes long, where I will go on rants and just entertain y'all as much as I can. But and then we can't forget our brothers, our homies, Accidental Chaos, They're also a podcast. But yeah, so we're gonna have Accidental Chaos, hopefully going full steam again.
Yes.
Very soon.
We're building in the background.
Yeah,
It's
they're
just
building a lot of things in the background, and it's gonna be extremely interesting. And hopefully they figure out the show this time.
we'll see. We're kind of all a mess, but a fun mess nonetheless.
Yes, I mean that's the point of it, right? It's supposed to be a fun, chaotic time.
Precisely.
Yeah.
But we shall see. You know, that's the fun part of it all. But I did want to mention, I guess now is the time we pretty much caught up on where we are, where we're going, and what we're looking forward to. Now comes kind of a fun part. We wanted to last week, or I guess the week before last, you guys did get to see basically an up and coming artist known by Gammy Gonzz. He was kind of, a up and coming artist in Houston who is kind of building, in the pop scene, and it was a very, very good interview. If you haven't checked it out, feel free to check it out. We have it available on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, everywhere you can find like podcasting. But we have that readily available there. But what we are going to do, which is pretty cool, is we're going to listen to a live reaction to the new song with Gammy Gonzz and CA the Don, who's also a former guest of the show. And we have a new song coming up. So, Danny, tell us about the song.
All right. So this is a brand new song. It dropped last Friday. It's called Luv Me For You by Gammy Gonzz and CA the Don. We have not heard it. This is going to be our first reaction to it. And let's see what it's like. Let's check it out. All right, here we go. Luv Me For You by Gammy Gonzz and CA the Don.
¿Cómo se dice no te necesito?
I swear I don't need you, no, 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 no. And you say you wanna leave, then walk out that door. And I'll find myself another, that is for sure. Yeah, you say you wanna leave, then walk out that door, no. Yo la cacería, toda la putería, dime lo que quieras, pero ponte ya la pila. Yo la cacería, toda la putería, dime lo que quieras, pero ponte ya la pila. You don't gotta love me, I'll love me for you. La cosa está dura, la cosa está blue. Say that you love me, I know that you don't. And I'm calling you best as you walk out the door, baby. If you don't love me for you. Si tú no me quieres, me quiero por ti.
Bro, can we just say that Gammy is killing it?
Yeah.
That verse is cold, bro.
So first of all, I want to talk about it because I want to really discuss like the actual like instrumental behind it. I really like the tropical vibe that's really coming from that. It has that very like, how would I say it? Like almost like a Cuban like style, like that merengue kind of like almost into like cumbia, like kind of like vibe that's happening. There's a really tropical like sound that's happening, and I really, really vibe with it.
It's dope. Hell yeah.
Not to mention, I didn't know Gammy could flow like that. I was like, I definitely have heard like, it's like melodic stuff, but I've really never heard him like really, really go into that super flow. So I really, really like that. And I don't know, I'm vibing with this so far.
Yes. All right. Yeah, it's dope. Like I wasn't expecting that from Gammy. I'm not gonna lie. Just like you said, we've heard him sing his melodic stuff, but he's actually getting the flow here. All right, you ready to get back in it?
Mm-hmm.
If you don't love me for you. Si tú no me quieres, I swear I don't need you, no, 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 no. And you say you wanna leave, then walk out that door. And I'll find myself another, that is for sure. Yeah, you say you wanna leave, then walk out that door, no.
Ok, tiempo se pasa, pero en mi mente pasamos el tiempo amándonos, pasa que pasa. When we feel like some animals, love when I handle you, love when you lie. Yeah, riding on the wave high, try and get your body on the east side, baby, trying to come right back like a beat. I need my time, I can't be yours, I need my time back. Money don't define no man, I know I gave up on love, can't find that, but I'd rather be heartbroken.
All right, pause it. Okay, first off, CA, old sexy ass boy, killing it out there. No, this is fucking fire, bro. This is fucking fire.
Dude,
like,
I dig this beat. Like,
yeah, I dig the beat too.
Summertime bop for sure.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Play it at the barbecue, bro.
Hell yeah, I can hear this at the bar at the club.
I'll make
Shit.
I'll make fucking fajitas with this in the background of this. Fuck yeah.
Yes, bro. Oh yeah. All right, let's keep going. Let's keep
All
going.
right, let's keep going.
With the flat out bro, got a couple side hoes who follow the code. One trip, no post, then we both go ghost. Not the girl I need, you the girl I chose. Don't you think you be replaceable?
If you don't love me for you. Si tú no me quieres, me quiero por ti. If you don't love me for you. Si tú no me quieres, I swear I don't need you. No, 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 no. And you say you wanna leave, then walk out that door. And I'll find myself another, that is for sure. Yeah, you say you wanna leave, then walk out that door. No.
That was solid.
That was fire.
Yeah, I really like that.
I think in the chat, fire or trash? Keep it or eat it.
Dude, okay. Yeah, so overall, like I actually really like the music that's happening. I really like that kind of vibe that it gave off. And I thought it was a really cool, like, just like I said, it's a bop.
We're back with our special guest. He made it.
I made it, guys.
In the beginning, Kyle.
Oh, late ass.
Hey, man, that's
Listen.
what happens when you overschedule yourself.
Yeah, dude. So I just wanted to introduce some, if for those who don't know, it's just a legendary, musician and performer, sexy motherfucker. I want to introduce Lil Dicky, everybody.
Fuck my dicky, bitch.
No, this is Bleezy Blake, a pivotal member actually of Accidental Chaos and the Paperplay Media Company. He's also an up-and-coming comedian, starting to kind of work and build in the Houston scene.
Yes,
and we just kind of wanted to have a short conversation with him and kind of just talk about how things have been going in the comedy scene. So Blake, first and foremost, you've always been kind of a funny guy as long as I've known you, right? But what legitimately like led you to wanting to try comedy?
Oh, dude, that's easy. So I've always wanted to try comedy. I've every aspect of my life, like when I was growing up, was surrounded around performing or like drawing attention to myself. Just because I'm ready to do the next thing to make everybody laugh, because there's a lot of dark shit that goes on in life, man. And they say comedy is tragedy plus time.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had 28 years to experience the tragedy and turn it into something fun. There's also this fun song, there's lyrics from A Day to Remember that said, all I want is a place to call my own, to mend the hearts of everyone who feels alone. And that's what comedy clubs are, man. Comedians got some fucked up shit typically going on in their heads. And this is a place where you can not feel alone in doing that. The inclusivity in comedy, Houston in general, the comedy scene is diverse as fuck. And what's beautiful about that is it like perfectly represents what Houston's about, and that's our diversity. Texas in general, I've said this many times, Texas, our motto is a singular word, and that's friendship. And you can find all those things in comedy, and especially in the Houston scene. But what pushed me to do it was I got tired of not feeling fulfilled, man. You've got to pursue shit that you want to do. Like everything that pushes you to create, that's what you've got to explore. That's what you've got to nurture. I've spent so many time fucking like wasting time with hoes and wasting time with time wasting situation here. I've done it, and now it's sort of something for me to leave an impact, even if my name's only remembered by a few people. I mean, it's more than what I started with. And one thing that I'll say is it definitely is a really powerful mental health tool, comedy. And I guess unlocked that after going to the gym one day after a really bad breakup. I was like, this is the lowest I've ever been. Let's see if we can start growing. And then the moment you start really growing and working on yourself, you actually start seeing the results of what that is and what this life is really about. And that's self-improvement. That's what comedy's brought for me, is self-improvement.
Damn.
Oh yeah. Have you ever heard of living life in the dash?
No.
You understand what that means? Okay. So I'm going to break it down for you because I think it's really interesting. And I think it kind of, really goes into kind of what you want to like discuss when it comes to finding your purpose and things, right? So living life in the dash, it starts with this kind of story of
the 2 dates, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you brought this up on the on Accidental Chaos, actually.
Yeah.
It's pretty fucking profound. I was like, yeah, man, that little space is all you have.
Yeah.
The tiny little thing.
So to put in perspective for listeners who aren't aware, living life in the dash is it's kind of like a metaphor, kind of discussing, a man kind of talking to somebody like in his life, talking about the fulfillment that he has in this life. And what he does is he looks at a tombstone, which is a little bit morbid, and he sees 2 dates. It's the date that you're born, like officially you have came into the world, and then there's the date that you pass away. But people don't notice or really pay attention to is really the most important part, which is the dash in the middle. The dash is when you first find love. The dash is when you first find heartbreak. The dash is when you first find out to ride your bicycle. The dash is when you lose somebody you love. The dash is finding that first job, finding that passion,
trying DMT.
Trying DMT maybe once or twice, a multitude of things, but it's a very important aspect into when you say living life in the dash, because as you get older, and this is just something that inherently I've been coming across as well, you really look at your mortality in a different way, and you start to kind of think, at any point, things could happen right in an instant. It could vary from age to age, because nobody's safe from that. So living your life in that little dash, no matter how big that dash may be for you, is really important. And in finding that opportunity to find those passions that you have in life are pivotal.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Especially to your growth. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And
it's beautiful when I heard it.
It's really cool, man. It's fucking, you got to do that. You every single moment, you see so many people passing, so many dying, so many regrets that have been heard. You don't want that.
No.
This past year with COVID and everything, you just see all these people that, they're dying, or people are full of regrets because they lost someone that they could have done something with them, and they didn't send the text, they didn't do this.
Bro, COVID was a backhand to everybody.
It really was.
It was like, get your fucking shit together, bro.
Really slap all us in the fucking face, and then we're like, whoa, are we on the right track? Are we happy with what we're doing?
That's the most important thing. That was the most important question raised, is are you happy? Are you?
Yeah,
can you tell me that you are? And what makes that happy?
It's funny too when you think of happiness, because I heard this recently, and I heard the way that you explain happiness is not a goal. Happiness is not something you have to continuously strive to find, because if you strive to find something for too long, you never will. Happiness is something that you eventually build and you create. You create that purpose. You do think of the little things that you have in your life, and they make you smile, right? But finding happiness is like a fallacy in a lot of ways, because in a lot of ways it really is almost a detriment, because you're constantly looking for what makes you happy. But realistically, not putting a focus on that and just living your life instead, even when it's bad, even when it's ugly, is important. Because this life is full of things and lessons. If anything, it teaches you the lesson of that. And I don't know. It was something I had heard recently, and I was like, you know what? It really speaks to me in a way, because when I and I don't know if it's the same for you, Blake, as well, but when I look at life a lot of times now too, at least for the longest time, I was always looking for what made me happy. Was it gonna be this? Was it gonna be making a bunch of money? Was it going to be doing? And then when I had some successes in certain places, I didn't feel 100% fulfilled. I didn't feel 100% happy. I just felt like I wanted to move to that next goal, right?
Side quests, my friend.
But no, I just to come off that, we'll get back into some more stuff.
No, but that is what you're talking about, bro. That's your whole side quest. You're like, oh man, I got fulfilled and I did this thing. I got to the very end of this part. All right. But I think those moments that you feel disappointment in that, I think, because I feel like happiness is almost a state, right? I feel like happiness is a place. But how do you find a place that you're not often there, or you've never been? Because you say that those moments that you feel happiness and it's fleeting, say that's you being taken blindfolded to the place of happiness, not shown the route, not shown how to get there. but whenever you find it for yourself, like find it within yourself, you have to do a lot of work. Those hard moments, those are the times to hone your blade. Those really rough nights, those are the ones to plan out those bright mornings. Like you have to work to get those tools that allow you to find the place, that allow you to navigate within yourself to get to that place of happiness. Because a lot of people look for it in people or in things, and that's just not the way it is. I feel like in order to experience true happiness, you have to not only go through a lot of pain to understand the depth of that emotion, but you also have to be willing to build those tools necessary to see. Because it's hard to see happiness when it's a dark world, man. It's dark for a lot of people, but
that's for sure.
But that's no excuse to stop looking.
Yeah.
No excuse.
So to pivot off that and to kind of talk about, pain, right? And things that it's sad. Let's talk about something that actually is a very important aspect of building when it comes to your career, when it comes to something that you want to do in life, and that's failure. Especially for a comedian, failure is really pivotal in that projection to growth, right? And it's something that I think a lot of comedians are afraid of, but really look forward to.
We're all terrified of it, but it's the only learning experience we get.
So tell me about a time that you said, I think we can talk about your first experience ever on stage. And I kind of want to hear more about it. And what were your real thoughts kind of going through that, being able to kind of step on the stage for the first time?
All right. So like I said, I started comedy after a bad breakup. So I went to the comedy club. I've never found a place where I was like, this is my chapel. You go to your pew, you sit down, and you find something to pray to. But when I was lost, my most lost, I was working Uber. I was incredibly depressed. I went into the secret group and I told myself, you're gonna give it 3 weeks, 3 shows. If that's all you watch, you just take notes, see what happens. See what's the worst that could happen. You've already gone through the worst that could happen. This currently is this breakup. And then I saw someone bomb, and someone that since then they crush it. But I saw someone bomb, like that's the worst. We're all uncomfortable. You don't a comic is not the only one who feels uncomfortable. We are also watching you shit the bed. None of us came in here for scat play, but here you are fucking puddling shit. It's fucking gross. But I've bombed. I've done it. But my first time I killed it. And I think that was that it shouldn't have happened that way, because now I'm addicted to comedy. Now I'm I fucking love that shit. Dude.
I'm not gonna lie, I've seen you once or twice perform, and both times you fucking killed it, dude. I was in complete awe the very first time I saw you, because I know it was either your second or third show. And I went there to the secret group and I watched it and I was like, dude, this kid's got some talent to him.
I appreciate
the way you control the room was something admirable, because as soon as you were on stage, you were on. And I watched a whole night worth of comedians, because you're one of the last ones to go up.
Yeah, dude, I was 22nd and a list of 25.
5:00 in the morning by the time you went up. And me and my fiance watched the whole line of comedians, and some were awesome, some completely bombed. But the stage presence you had as soon as you got on there, and they're coming to the stage, Bleezy Blake, everyone's like, oh, but not really, because there's 3 of us there. But you came on and you demanded attention, and you just took over the space, dude. And I gotta say, I was in complete awe, because I knew you were fresh to the scene. I knew you were new and you were trying out jokes, but you just completely killed it, dude.
Bro, I appreciate that so fucking much, dude. Because dude, that means the world to me. Fucking it. How would I best describe how that occurs? So I've already been a shit person to myself, right? You're your own worst enemy. Plain and simple. You'll 100%. No one can talk shit to you better than you can. And I after seeing people bomb and going up on stage and thinking that's the worst that could happen, fine. I'll just go back up and do it again. I've had my heart broken several times. Do I stop going and searching for love? No. So why would I do that for comedy?
Yeah.
And like a shout out real quick to one of the local comics, Abby Bowman, dude. She fucking inspired the shit out of me. She told me comedy's waiting for you. And I'm like
that.
all right, I get it. It's all there. You have to go pursue it. And that's just like everything else in life. Like when I went to the gym, I hated myself. I couldn't take my shirt off, bro. I felt uncomfortable. I was like, well, let's figure out what we can do here. I started building. I got more impressed by what I was doing. I was hurting, but I was like, I can do more and do more. And I was becoming more comfortable with myself. It's the same with comedy. Comedy, the stores are gyms. You're just going open mics. You're watching a gym session. Sometimes you'll see some ripped motherfucker, really good comic come in and crush it. Yeah. Sometimes you'll see them just bomb because they were sore from the night before. They're trying something new. They're doing a different workout. It's really cool. You see potential. It's almost like watching the star being born in a nebula. Like all of them. Like I can name a couple of comics that I honestly feel I could definitely go somewhere big.
Dude, that old man that frequents the secret group. I forget his name, but he kills it.
Andy Huggins, bro. I fucking love him.
He was on America's Got Talent. He's one of the funniest dudes I've ever seen. He's probably 100 years old at this point.
He was there my first fucking night up, dude, and I was nervous as shit. And I had my fucking notebook, and I look at him because I was like, I feel like I know who you are. And I'm like, hey man, do you have any fucking like advice for someone just starting? And he's like, write every day. Keep writing. Don't stop writing. Go up there with confidence. Believe in yourself, because the thing that happens when you bomb, because you can always come back from that. But a lot of the things, like when you bomb, it's like hitting the whiskey throttle. You know, you fucked up and you're like, well, people stop believing in themselves. They'll start bombing, and then they'll start treating the mic like a therapy session, a little too on it. They're like, yeah, my dad hated me. And it's like, no, dude, it's okay.
You don't know, one thing I appreciate about your comedy is that you don't go for shock value. Like you're telling real stories. Because I frequent comedy clubs all the time. I love comedy. I'm a student of comedy. I want to get up. I want to build the courage to one day, do comedy again. Because first 2 times I did, I bombed and it was terrible.
It's fun.
Like the best part of it was when I was like, fuck, I thought I was funny and everyone in the room laughed. That was like my best joke. But, you've inspired me after watching you and constantly, getting back into comedy and watching tons of people. You've inspired me to start writing again. And I appreciate you doing that because you did.
Man, thanks, dude.
But like, I've realized I have such a love for comedy. Like for Valentine's Day, I took my girl out to Hot Brunch Drag that
yeah.
Tressa that's also frequents the secret group. Tressa and I forgot the other girl's name. They did it and it was a good time. Julie was there.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. And
Julie's a shit.
Yeah. But it made me appreciate the way you do comedy, because I saw people that went for just shock value. I saw people like you where you had substance to your stories. You had your jokes well thought out and built up. And I just like, I don't know, man. You made me fall in love with comedy again when I went to go see you.
Hey man, I fell in love with comedy in a fucking profound way, dude. So I understand. And dude, so I know some like hesitation to getting up on stage. Trust and believe. I understand that shit. But dude, I'm telling you, the moment, like whenever this is how it happens for me. I'm nervous before every show. That'll never change. I'm always nervous. It varies in degree.
Yeah.
But the moment I like see the mic suspended in light, dude, and it's waiting for me and I grab it, it's time to go to work.
Bleezy Blake.
I'm like, dude, this is who I gotta be. This is who I want to be. And then it all like syncs. That's why I say like whenever, like, that's why I reference the chapel to the comedy clubs. It's like, I don't have a God to pray to. I have people to make laugh. And that's what I'm here for.
Yes, sir.
Love that shit. I love that shit, honestly, Blake. And it's funny, like, I guess going into it, they were kind of talking about how shock value and things like that.
I love all
it's something that happens too in comedy, right? And it's something that happens frequently in comedy, and people have taken, different stances on how they feel about shock value comedy. And as somebody who used to previously do a lot of shock value comedy, have you felt the shift and the change in kind of how you present yourself? Do you feel like you're more careful whenever you're telling jokes? Like you feel like you need to be, or do you feel like it's just kind of the way things are moving? This is the natural progression of comedy, and this is where things are going to go.
I don't know. I feel like I'm still like learning my recipe, you know, still getting my dishes down. I enjoy shock value comedy so much because it's the people that you don't expect it, right? Like
I don't want to talk about poutine. Don't you even bring it up.
No, I'm not gonna bring up the poutine. It's not good to be French Canadian. Everyone knows that. But no, man, it's I don't know, dude. It's you evolve over time for sure. I have some shock comedy things that I can say easily. My brain is just ready to say some potential canceling things, but I don't know. I really like the comedy that I've experienced, the things that I've made fun of in my life. That's why I do story-based comedy, is because y'all want to hear some fucked up shit. Like that's literally my life. I've got 28 years of, excuse me, like you saw what? How many times was your cousin's dick cut? Like that's crazy.
Yeah, one of the funniest jokes that I've heard when I went to go watch you. I don't want to give it away, but it was a gift you received from uncle.
No, is it the dead dude?
Yeah,
The dead guy pocket pussies, man.
Bro, you should have seen the comedy club, Kyle. When he said that, everyone went quiet. They didn't know how to react.
Bro, it's great because like here's like what actually happened there, man. I was engaged at one point. You boys know that.
Yeah.
And I was taking care of her dad as he was passing away of cancer. And this is something I've done with a lot of my family members. I just take care of people when they're passing. But him and I got really close. And this guy is like 6'5", fucking was 280, something like that. And a polar bear of a human being. And, you know, whenever I first saw him, I'm like, this is an imposing dude. This is a big ass guy. But, you know, I'm not sure that cancer makes your dick that little. And if it does, we need to obliterate cancer right now. MD Anderson needs to be given NASA money, needs to be given the war budget. I don't know what's happening here, but it's some fucked up shit. But he's starting to, like, you know, fade a little bit. And he said, you know, people take little trinkets from the dead. You know, if your dad dies, you might take a shirt or a flannel, and that's what she did. And he tells me that the duffel bags in the closet are like for me. And I'm like, and like, to give you like some backstory, he was a motocross person. Like he did a lot of motocross. He had some sick gear. And I was like, oh, this is some cool gear potentially. Maybe it's drugs and money. I don't fucking know. So I open it and it's like 2 pocket pussies, bro. Like it's pocket pussies and a couple pornos, man. One was used, one was brand new. The shit was fucking like, and you know, like it had like some Try-Me glue still stuck on the bottom of it. You know what I'm talking about. And like honestly, dude, I looked at it and I'm like, well, I'm not gonna just break up on the new one. I might get a refund on this one. I mean, if anything, we're gonna figure out what this is about. So like her dad, she slips into her dad's flannel to remember him, and I slip into the pocket pussy to remember the old man. Let me tell you, bro, pocket pussies are dangerous.
For a single guy, for sure.
No, if anything, abortions don't need to be illegal. Pocket pussies need to be illegal. Like women's rights, bro. Fuck the pocket pussy.
Can we talk about how Texas is the greatest state ever? We canceled COVID and we canceled abortions all in one shot in 1 year.
That's pretty fucking rad. That's pretty rad, bro. You know, people are worried about COVID and it's fucking like how infectious it is, bro. Have you seen someone yawn?
Yeah.
Bro, and tell me you're not going to immediately yawn right after, bro.
Oh, instantly, dude. I'm the worst at that.
Hell yeah, bro. What the fuck's that about, man?
I yawn and I start yawning.
I need to eat this
Terrible
piece of cake real quick.
Where did you get that from?
I made it, bitch.
Bro, did you not see? He sent us all a picture of when he was making it.
I didn't see the chat.
Oh man, we should
missed
pay
out.
attention. I have lots of fun with making
You
cake.
know I'm not good at paying attention to things. ADD is really a bitch.
Hell yeah, bitch.
And for some reason I'm dyslexic now, so that's new. I don't know.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, did you just get the booster or something?
Yeah, that explains the third arm under here.
Kyle's saying he's got a giant dong.
You know he's 2% black, and it's only below the waist.
This is true.
Excuse me?
He's 2% black.
Is that for real?
Yeah, no, actually, I'm 2%. No, it's like 1.2% sub-Saharan African. Totally.
You should run for president.
I am
You're like
actually,
a smoothie, bro. Like
I am
you're so
actually
blended.
17% Native American. That is a fact.
Oh man.
What
Yeah, you
tribe
should
I-
definitely run for president. We took all of your land, bitch. You were like, bitch, don't kill my tribe. We said too late.
Just don't kill my tribe.
Oh my god.
All right.
All
We
right,
pivoted. We really did pivot.
No, that's actually what Pocahontas was saying, low key. She was twerking on John Smith like, bitch, don't kill my tribe. It was great, bro.
As someone that's known for saying outrageous shit, how do you feel about cancel culture, man? And how
Fuck cancel culture. It can suck a whole ass dick.
All right.
And the people that support it, they can suck a dick too.
Do you think though that there are some people who absolutely need to be canceled though?
That absolutely. I mean, if you're gonna if you're raping people,
Like
yeah,
a Bill,
you should definitely be canceled.
like a Bill Cosby is just an example.
Yeah, like a serial rapist. Yeah, I mean, I think you should be murdered. But
the
that's because
popsicles.
you rape people, you should be killed.
I just want to talk about my pudding pops.
Man, I fucking love Bill Cosby. My dad looks like Bill Cosby, bro. It's so uncomfortable. Now I can't go to family barbecues that fucking watch my mom's drink. Like they're married. They've been married for fucking almost 20 years, but I'm like, hold up.
I'm saying, dude, if your dad offers you a pudding pop, say no.
You know what? His nickname in the police force for a couple of his friends was Puddin' Pop. And I'm like, man, nobody says shit about that anymore. Remember the good old days back when Puddin' Pops and Quaaludes were ubiquitous?
Right.
The 80s.
Oh,
Place I
Hell
don't
yeah.
remember.
Yeah, I like
Never was there.
But no, honestly, cancel culture, dude, I think it's a distraction.
Oh, for sure.
I think it's an absolute distraction. I think it's a misrepresentation. People are misunderstanding what's going on. Like the whole Dave Chappelle thing. I guess that would be the most recent, big, cancel thing. Bro, people didn't fucking listen at all. He said, you're not going to listen. You don't listen, and you're not going to. And it blows my mind. The entire reason that you make jokes, the entire reason we exist as comics is social commentators.
Exactly.
If you get offended, there's a fucking reason.
Mm-hmm.
But if you get offended over if you got offended because you went to a comedy show or you watched a comedy show, or you get offended because you got a clip or you heard someone get offended by it, I have no sympathy for you. The world is much more tough than somebody's joke that somebody said. Now, if you're actually...
And that's like the whole Joe Rogan thing, you know, how they're trying to cancel him.
That doesn't make any sense to me. And
Stupid.
Man.
It's okay, I get it. Does he spread vaccine misinformation sometimes? Sure, but he's apologized for it.
But he's also just in the search for the answer. He has people from all over.
Exactly.
Yeah, he talks to multiple people.
He owns up to it. When he's right, I mean, they don't give him credit when he's been right, or when he's right on the podcast and they've said shit that was correct.
But media is gonna media regardless, and that's how they try to do things. And like you guys said, it's a lot of times it's a distraction for another thing. But hey, shout out to the comedians who actually don't give a shit about it. You have so many. You have Theo Vaughn out there. You have fucking Bill Burr. You have Bert Kreischer.
Have you seen Miss Pat's newest special on Netflix? Bro, if you haven't seen Miss Pat's newest special on Netflix, I highly recommend it.
Yeah,
that shit is hilarious. She has probably one of the crudest abortion jokes I've ever heard. And
that's fun.
It is just great, man. Miss Pat is amazing.
I do love a good abortion joke.
There's somebody probably listening to this right now, or is going to listen to this in the future, who's just these are all comedians that I'm no longer going to listen to.
Yeah. They're like, no.
And to that, I say, suck a dick.
Suck a dick.
The best part of being uncomfortable.
Sucking dick?
I don't know. It's
the best part of waking up.
Hold on. You got a little something exciting to do there.
It's taking a little nut.
Yeah.
I got a serious question to ask you, Blake.
All right, what's up?
What's up with you and Ted Cruz, man? It seems like you got some
Fucking
beef
hate Ted
with
Cruz.
Mr. Cruz.
Bro, first off, he looks like my buddy Kyle here.
Where?
And
I
I'm
just want to
like-
see. Is it because I'm Mexican?
Emotional damage.
Wow,
He's not even Mexican.
that's
He's fucking
racist.
he's fucking Cuban.
on fucking brand, Mr. Cruz. On brand. Wow.
First of all, I am Mexican, half at least, and he's also Cuban, so it's still fucked up. So
And he went to Mexico, so that's
he did.
like,
He
you
did.
guys are
He did
brothers
in
now.
Mexico.
He bailed on us.
Compadres.
Compatriot. That's really close to comrades. Fucking
Compatriot.
communist.
Compatriots.
God damn it.
Speaking of
Yeah.
the conversation of patriots, I want your take because I don't know if you've been keeping up with what's been going on in Canada, but
Wait.
it's been a shit show.
Bro, I don't give a fuck about Canada. What's happening in Canada?
So currently,
They got moose and
it's very cold there as well.
Got maple syrup.
Yeah,
And-
Justin Trudeau there as well.
Bro, I don't fuck with syrup. You know what's better than syrup on pancakes, bro? Chocolate gravy. That shit is.
I don't like that you called it gravy though.
Bro, it's called chocolate gravy, dog. It's the consistency of gravy, but it's like this like really nice chocolate. It's
Tell me why when you said chocolate gravy, I started sweating, bro.
bro, you'll get the sweats.
It's some
good.
meat sweats.
Bro, because I pour that shit on the eggs, the bacon, the sausage, the
Oh, my
pancakes.
eggs.
Are we gonna have to redo a Thanksgiving episode?
Hell yeah. Oh,
I'm
dude.
about to get basted, Danny.
Hold on. Paper plate.
Basted and wasted.
Chocolate sauce.
We should all get together to do a Thanksgiving episode.
My dumb ass was trying to suck out the fucking lid.
That's all that. Yeah, brownie, bro.
Oh, but to go into what's happening in Canada right now, as a general just consensus.
Is it the
So
trucker thing?
Yeah, it's the whole trucker
Oh.
trucker thing going on, where people are
That's tight.
kind of like initially fighting against mask mandates and things like that. And there's kind of a lot of like laws, which people can believe whatever they want, in my opinion. Like I think that might be incorrect. Somebody else might think it's super correct. I really don't give a shit, right? It's
Ultra
kind of what it is.
correct.
However, though, I don't like the idea of people having access to freeze bank accounts when they deem it necessary to do so. So that's something that's happening right now.
That's not cool.
Is they're actually freezing protesters' bank accounts.
It's fuck.
And yeah, that's why people have been trying to go to crypto, but they've been talking about assets in general, like freezing assets as a whole. So potentially trying to freeze their crypto wallets as well.
He said ass.
So that
Hell yeah.
yeah. So it's one of those things where it's kind of just like the world is just in this place where it doesn't want to like listen to its people, right? Canada being an example of that, where it's just there are a bunch of people who obviously have an issue with what's going on, but they don't really want to listen as to why. They just want to automatically deem them wrong. And I want your opinion on that, Blake.
Bro,
Well, I mean, how more obvious is like autocracy, right? Like,
Yeah.
It's so sickening. It's I feel like we're slowly going towards the decline of freedom. It's being shown globally. It's kind of depressing.
Yeah.
yeah. Have you seen South America, dude? They're all socialists and
Mhm.
now.
Hey, shout
Bro,
out
it's-
Salvador though for being Bitcoin friendly and embracing technology.
It's just, it's for me, I just try to focus on literally everything else. I find that if I focus too much on all of that, it's only gonna force me to want to fix the world, because I have that issue. If I see something broken, I'm trying to fix it. And I got obsessed with it for the longest time. Like I got really into politics, and I honestly think that the people that are in power, those people that pursue power at that level, it's corrupted you already. If you're pursuing that level, you're already corrupted by something. Even if you try to start it off with like good intentions, like you've walked all the way that path to hell. Like I don't know, man. It's
Hard to disagree with you on that one because
It's hard to
also
see
agree.
positive people.
You don't a lot of the time. A lot of things where they try to utilize like the people, the people, quote unquote, or what they believe that is. It's usually just a front to build their own, and that's Republican or Democrat, whatever. It's the same. At the end of the day, if you really want to break it down, the fundamental rules are the same. Take advantage of the people that are not in control and be the person in control, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's really all it is. And I think when it comes down to it, this is just getting kind of heavy. And I'm sorry, I keep doing this to you, Blake, during a conversation about comedy. But
bro, the people are multifaceted.
It's one of those things that's like insane to me. And I don't know. I just think there needs to be fundamental change in the way that the world kind of views certain aspects of things. I don't know. If the world
was unfortunate, I think we'll all be dead before we see that.
Yeah. At least we will initially. Hopefully our grandkids won't, though.
We'll be alive in the metaverse.
I mean, well, then we could if we're worried about the grandkids, we could talk about the dwindling harvests, over harvesting, not being able to replenish the next year, and then topsoil degrading.
It sucks.
It's a big bowl of depressing, and that's why we got to giggle about literally everything else.
Comedy's for.
That's what we're here for. Like, hey, everything's on fire. Let's talk about how small the dick the fireman had. Let's talk about that.
Toby Keith said it best. I'm not here for a long time. I'm here for a good time.
Toby Keith has said a lot of shit, sir. Toby Keith has been the response. My response to Toby Keith is always a blackout drunk phase. So,
Fair.
It's not even my music, but Toby Keith just in the air, and you're drunk already.
I don't care if it's nobody's music, like country, whether or not, no matter what state you live in or country you live in. All I will say is there's never a wrong time to play Neon Moon, ever. Neon Moon is the greatest song.
I like the covers of Neon Moon, but every time I hear that, I'm like, bro, I am not about to smoke this cigarette, am I?
When the sun goes down on my side of town. Anyways, Blake, I wanted to thank you for jumping on. It was awesome to have a conversation with you.
It's cool, man. I just demand your firstborn.
I can provide some salt and maybe like a little bit of like. I have this water bottle. That's pretty much all I got.
How about you recycle that and make sure it doesn't go to the trash? Pay it forward. Sir.
I live in Kentucky. That is what I'll say. Anyways,
they don't know how to spell recycle.
Certain parts of Kentucky, that would be correct. You're a little further south toward Tennessee. They're going to start spelling Kentucky incorrect too.
You know what state's the worst though? Fucking Louisiana, dude.
Oh,
worst goddamn state in the entire union.
What they do have Mardi Gras?
Fuck yourself, Louisiana. Every time I go there, you got fucking goddamn dinosaurs roaming the fucking waters, and your bitch ass. Like every time I go there, I'm surprised and inspired every time I see someone with more than 7 teeth in Louisiana. I'm like, bro, do y'all just all work at Lowe's making keys? Like, what the fuck y'all doing, bro?
Yeah.
Fucking hate that shit. And they bring their toothless selves over here.
Think about it.
We got dentists.
We got alligators afoot.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. That's all I have to say about that. Fuck Louisiana.
Did you go to Mardi Gras down there, or?
Hell no, I went to Galveston.
Galveston, same.
Yeah, that was wholesome as shit.
Hell yeah, right? Galveston.
I was like, people were like, beads, and I'm like, this is the only time like people are gonna legally let me throw shit at their kids. So might as well beam this bitch right down to their kid.
Honestly, you're not missing much from like a New Orleans Mardi Gras. Last time I went to New Orleans Mardi Gras, I had a death threat. Someone tried to pickpocket my friend, and I ended up in a brothel.
Nice.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was an interesting 4 hours.
2 pockets got picked that day.
No.
No.
You've heard, I'm sure a few of you guys have heard that story. If you listen to some of the weekly podcasts, I've talked about that experience in New Orleans. It was a wild time.
Kyle admitted they played pocket pool that day.
Damn.
No, sir.
Anyways,
boys, thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for listening to our stream and our Twitch and listening to us talk about random shit for like 45 minutes before. I do want to say Blake. It was
You know,
a
I
pleasure
forget-
having you on.
So-
Blake, if you don't mind shouting out your social media, just so we can know where to find you.
I'm
And
Big Daddy Bleezy on Instagram, bitch. It's that little thingy you see right next to my face if you're watching.
There you go.
Fuck
Yeah, Big Daddy
And
Bleezy.
where can they find you if to go to perform?
Anywhere in Houston that's got an open mic, you'll find me. Secret Group, Rudyard's, Darwin's,
Have you been
lots
to
of
Rudd?
places. Where?
Rudd's?
Rudd's, yeah, man. We went to the Gay Agenda show. Me and my buddy Tyler got called stepdad, stepson couple. And yeah, I was like, God, now this motherfucker calls me sport.
You know what?
Pissing me the fuck off.
I went to that hot brunch drag at the Rudd's. And I was like, man, I want to go see more comedy down here. It seems like a good vibe. Montrose seems like a great place to.
Montrose is a fucking magical place. The neighborhood is live and well.
Yes, sir.
Long live it.
Avant Garden's pretty sick too.
Oh fuck yeah! And
Shout
for
out
live
Avant Garden.
poetry too. I really
Yeah.
like that. Yeah,
Our friend Omer does live poetry at Avant Garden.
that's tough.
Yeah, it's pretty in
You should
in the
leave that
scene.
backwards ass state and come back to Texas, bitch. You got like you like my friends do this stuff in Houston.
Right.
That's pretty much how it goes. I was like, I have friends in a different state. I have friends here.
friends.
I got a couple of friends here and a
Yeah,
couple
you
good
should.
people. But regardless, again, Blake, thank you for jumping on.
Yeah, man.
And
Appreciate
thank you
it.
guys, listeners, for listening to the Weekly Podcast again, and joining us on this journey. You can find us pretty much anywhere you find podcasts if you want to listen to it and kind of listen to this again if you want to kind of go deep dive into the fully edited version of this. Thank you for those who listened to this live and were able to listen and wait through our breaks.
Yes.
And
Let's do some shout outs real quick. Shout out to Accidental Chaos 69 for listening. Although we know it's Chris.
Shout out to my dealer for the supply.
Shout out to Tombstone, who's our producer. Shout out to Mexi Beer God. I almost said Mexi Bad Guy, but it's Mexi Beer God. Shout out to you for watching the live stream. Shout out to Metalhead 41294. That's a long ass fucking tag, but
Wow.
shout out to you too.
Took all
Maybe
the
that's
letters
Cody?
and numbers.
Yeah, that's Cody.
and then also shout out to Gammy Gonzz. It was pretty, and Ansia the Don for the sick music we got to check out right before Blake jumped on.
Oh, so you had a whole ass party. I bet there were drugs too. I'm disappointed.
So if you guys want to listen to more of the Weekly D, you can also or keep up with our social media. You can also check us out at the Weekly D Pod on both Instagram and Twitter. You can also again follow me at It's That Guy Kyle on both Instagram and Twitter, and Danny at Danny_G951 on pretty much all of social media. We do have a TikTok, random stuff like that. We're building a YouTube channel, all that fun stuff. So make sure you check it out. Be on the lookout for anything paperplate media related. We look forward to growing with you. We look forward to seeing you as this thing progresses, and we'll see you guys next time. Till then, peace.
¿Cómo se dice? No te necesito.
I swear I don't need you, no, 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 no. And you say you wanna leave, then walk out that door. And I'll find myself another, that is for sure. Yeah, you say you wanna leave, then walk out that door. No. Yo la cacería, toda la putería, dime lo que quieras, pero ponte ya la pila. Yo la cacería, toda la putería, dime lo que quieras, pero ponte ya la pila. You don't gotta love me, I'll love me for you. La cosa está dura, la cosa está blue. Say that you love me, I know that you don't. And I'm calling you best as you walk out the door, baby. If you don't love me, I'll love me for you. Si tú no me quieres, me quiero por ti. If you don't love me, I'll love me for you. Si tú no me quieres, I swear I don't need you. No, 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 no. And you say you wanna leave, then walk out that door. And I'll find myself another, that is for sure. Yeah, you say you wanna leave, then walk out that door. No.
Ok, el tiempo se pasa, por mi mente pasamos el tiempo amándonos. Pasa que pasa. When we feel like some animals, love when I handle you, love when you lie. Yeah, riding on a wave high. Try and get your body on the east side. Baby, trying to come right back like a beeline. Need my time, I can't be yours, I need my time back. Money don't define no man, I know. I gave up on love, can't find that. But I'd rather be heartbroken than flat out broke. Got a couple side hoes who can follow the code. One trip, no post, then we both go ghost. Not the girl I need, you the girl I chose. Don't you think you irreplaceable?
If you don't love me for you. Si tú no me quieres, me quiero por ti. If you don't love me for you. Si tú no me quieres, I swear I don't need you. No, 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 no. And you say you wanna leave, then walk out that door. And I'll find myself another, that is for sure. Yeah, you say you wanna leave, then walk out that door. No. No.